The way this is supposed to work is I go, hey, Lou, and you go, what? Or, yeah, what's up? Or,
sorry. Let's try it again.
No.
Go ahead.
No,
do it again.
No, you're just doing it. You're going to do it the way you do it now.
Do it again. I'll make it better.
We're not going to start over.
Oh, crap.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. It's been crazy a little bit. Emotional. Bro, we got snow. We got snow in the middle of March.
Yeah, that was weird. And it wasn't like, oh no, look, it's snowing.
It's a dusting. Oh,
no,
my.
We got a couple inches.
Yeah.
It was weird.
And what the heck?
It was pretty cleared up by the next day because people driving on it. But
yeah, at least the roads. But the grass was completely covered.
Yeah, I was actually very surprised because you said it's snowing. I was in the bathroom and you texted me and said it's snowing. And I was like, okay. It's March. It's like, what is it? Just going to, flutter for a little bit and then it'll be done. But no, I came out and I was like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah. And then it snowed all night.
Yeah, that was weird. And then for the next few days, it was rainy and springtimey.
It's the weirdest thing.
It's not really weird. I mean, we are destroying the planet and it's like...
It's just trying to throw whatever it's got at us.
It just doesn't know what to do anymore. It's like, oh, do I feel warm? Can you touch me? Do I feel warm to you? What are my symptoms anyways? I don't know. I feel cold today. I am shivering and I don't even know why. Do you think that cookie I ate had anything to do with it?
Yeah.
We've given the earth anxiety.
Yeah.
We've made the earth into a hypochondriac.
Yeah. She's just like, yeah, you can have snow. Whatever. Just throw some snow.
Yeah. Here's some snow.
Here's some snow.
Here's some rain.
Screw it. Here's some rain.
Babe, I feel weird. I feel off. Could you check my temperature? Not with the machine, just with your hand. I don't want to know for facts. I just want to get a big guesstimate, please.
What do you mean you think I'm fine? You don't know if I'm okay or not?
Yeah, that old cookie that I was eating. And I was like, does this look like mold to you? And you're like, no, flour-based mold is green. And then I take a bite and you're like, I think. And for the rest of the day, I was like, that's it. I'm gonna get real bad diarrhea.
Who hasn't eaten a questionable cookie? Seriously.
I don't know. I needed it yesterday.
Me too. And then and then daylight savings time kicked in. That's always a spring forward is always a fun one.
Yeah.
Because you're like, no, I'm serious. It is bedtime. No, I know it's still, it's going to be fine. Just no, for real. I swear to you, it's bedtime.
Yeah, it's tough. Daylight saving time is dumb. Though the government has decided to pull out all the stops and rush through Congress some way to keep it permanent, I guess, so we don't have to do it anymore. But
which would be kind of nice.
I feel like there's other things, though.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some other things that maybe we should be
more
focused
important.
on. Why is it that daylight savings time is so important that it just gets unanimous consent? Boom, straight through the Senate. But, hey, a bunch of states are attacking the rights of LGBTQ and trans people.
And women.
Yeah, and women. We're just silent on that?
No, the time.
It's, daylight savings time is definitely the most important.
We don't have as much farmers as we used to.
Are we on the brink of World War III?
Nah.
No, it's daylight savings time.
Yeah, let's
focus on that. Fuck that. Come on. I will, in all seriousness, though, I do hope they abolish it. And I do hope they get rid of it because I hate it. But I do think it's the least important thing that we've got on our plates right now. Oh, we're going into a fourth wave of a deadly pandemic that would be completely preventable if everybody would just get their heads out of their asses?
And stop posting on everywhere.
Oh, interesting.
Going places without masks.
Can we just stop doing that? American people, I know that a lot of people are dying right now. I know that there's a war. I know there's little tiny wars everywhere in all the states.
Tiny wars.
But I don't like losing an hour once a year. So pushing that through.
Everyone agrees? All right, cool.
Everyone does agree.
What the hell?
most things, I don't want to say most. Somebody pointed out the other day that most is not specific enough, but a lot of things that we fight about as policy, more people agree about than disagree about, right? Mm-hmm. But we have to have these like, I don't know, these weird, it almost feels scripted in some ways. We have these weird little fights about stupid stuff that doesn't make any. Mm-hmm. Daylight saving time does affect people, right? It does increase it increases the amount of heart attacks and stress, and like there's a lot of things that it does affect. Yes, and there's studies and stuff.
Wow,
it's not great for us. It's not good for your body, right? But it's also in the larger scheme of things of what's going on currently in the world, like literally the least important thing.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, great. Get it through there. And then, how about legalize marijuana and let out everybody with a marijuana offense? Just let them out.
Yeah. People are just sitting there with.
This is just dumbest thing to be in prison for.
Mad sentences.
Dumbest thing to be in prison for. I'm having an off week myself. Like the scale was mean to me this week. And I just feel like kind of just off, but it's because of the season change, I think. Mm-hmm. Whenever the seasons change, I get really like sinusy. I don't know if you can even hear it in my voice. But
and the tree pollen is everywhere out there.
Yeah, I feel like I have to constantly clear my throat. It's become a tick at this point because there's nothing wrong with my throat right now. I feel fine. Uh-huh. But I feel like, I feel like I got to do that.
Yeah.
It was like in the beginning of the pandemic when they're like, the number one thing is sore throat. And so like I was constantly swallowing to check.
You're like,
and I'm really like,
you're like, I got a sore throat, you think? And I'm like, no, we haven't been anywhere, man. Nowhere. We've done nothing.
That's my external anxiety. My internal anxiety is me constantly swallowing. Okay, it's not sore. And then 7 seconds later, still not sore. That's not good.
I know. And to this day, if I cough, you go, why are you coughing?
Yeah.
What are you coughing
sneezing.
about? Wait,
why did you just sneeze?
Why did you sneeze so many times? 3 times? What's going on? Are you sure you wore a mask at the store? What? Why are you coughing?
It's almost like I wish
hello.
In some ways, I wish they had not told anybody like that this could kill you. Because as soon as I found out that it could kill you, like, and I get it, like I get the math is in my favor, but just things that can kill you scare the shit out of me because I'm not ready.
Right.
I'm not ready. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, I'd be totally at peace. I'd be kicking and screaming. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I got some stuff left I want to do.
Right.
And it's not like I'm just waiting around like, I don't take days for granted. I don't take days I'm granted for granted, right?
Yeah.
But I have a lot of shit I want to accomplish.
Right.
And I don't have enough time to begin with.
Like,
I don't want that time to be cut short, right? I got a plan.
Right. I don't have time to die.
I don't have time for that. I don't have time for death right now.
I got other crap I got to do.
I certainly don't have time for these long COVID symptoms either that are being reported. And again, math is on your side, but
yeah,
I'm not a gambler, right? I played the lottery scratch off tickets one time. I won $40. I'm like, I'm good. That's a sign from the universe that I've pushed my luck, and that's it. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not a big gambler. I don't like gambling. I if a game has gambling in, I'm like, that doesn't seem like a fun game. I don't want to gamble anything, and I certainly don't want to gamble my life or your life or the kids' lives, or anybody who I love. Mm-hmm. But then everybody's pretending like, oh, this is mostly over, and if you're vaccinated,
you're fine. I can't believe I lived through a pandemic. What are you talking about? It's still going.
Yeah, and then you see. And I don't want to point anybody out, but you see somebody on social media and they're like out in public, like at a big gathering of indoor thing with no mask on, no mask in sight in the picture. Now, do they have a mask on outside the pictures? Maybe, but I can't know. All I can know is see the picture. You don't have a mask anywhere. It's not around your neck. It's not in your hand.
And people around you don't?
Yeah, nobody around you does. And then, oh, you want me to come into work? No, thank you. Do you want to go out and get lunch? Not really. You were just around a million people, and there's no way for you to know that those people were all vaccinated or safe.
Yeah.
There's no way for me to know if you're vaccinated or safe. You could show me the card, but I can buy one of those on eBay and fill it out myself.
Holy moly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's no, and I'm not saying, hey, we got to like mandate all this stuff, but at the same time, don't ask me to put myself into danger and put my family into danger.
Yeah. Or guilt trip
because
or whatever.
you are not in the same spot that I am mentally about it, right?
I think that's the problem. We're all at a different point mentally, and people have to work.
Here's what
and
I will
people
say,
have
though.
to go like into a building. They have no choice, otherwise
Yeah.
they have no job.
Yeah, we're very fortunate
But
that we
at
have
the
it.
very same time, if everyone's at a different point mentally, how the hell are we going to all get through this?
Yeah.
We can't all fight it individually by ourselves,
No,
which
it's
is
like
what it feels like.
climate change, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
That's what it feels like right now.
we can recycle all the things. Recycling's a scam, but we can still go through the motions. But our recycling isn't helping the planet overall. We have a larger problem with very pollutive corporations.
Yeah.
Causing the majority, right? And we've got raising a ton of cows and putting methane, and there's all kinds of things, and we have to change as a unit, not
Right.
individually.
Yeah.
The individual things are great, and you should do them if they make you feel good and you feel like you're helping, right?
is what I do.
You're doing your part. But they really don't make a difference individually, the way that it does if more of a global thing, right? And it's the same thing with masks. It's the same thing with vaccines. Right. If majority of people aren't getting vaccinated, then it doesn't matter.
Right.
Because we have vaccine breakthrough, and then those people can pass to unvaccinated people, and then that's an explosion. The science and the math is on our side if we would all just cooperate.
But
But we're not.
That does not exist for human beings.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And it makes it dangerous. Look, I'm not, somebody said something about living in fear the other day. I'm not living in fear. I'm living around fear,
Yeah.
right? Because I don't know. I can't know. There's no way for me to know if I go into a grocery store and I shop for 15 minutes with a mask on and get out of there, don't have any physical close contact. I can't know that that's safe or unsafe. I can only go by what the data says. And the data says indoor spaces around other people are not safe in terms of transmission. But that also doesn't mean that there's even anybody in there who's transmitting,
Right.
right? I could go to like a football game, and there could be 1 million people in the stands, and if nobody has COVID, then nobody at that game is going to get COVID, right?
Yeah.
But if somebody does have COVID, then you're going to have a spreader event, right?
Yeah. The
It still
problem
doesn't mean you get it, right?
Right.
There's some sort of but it's again just a gamble, and I don't want to take that gamble.
Yeah. That's where my brain goes, well, better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Better to, and I don't, I don't want to hold on to all those facts and figures and blah, 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 and this and that or whatever. And I think that's part of the problem with everybody
Right.
is that some people are taking it seriously and a lot of people are not.
I think there's a group of people that are taking it seriously, but also kind of relaxing that a little bit because they've been vaccinated,
Yeah.
or they've gotten it and it didn't really do much.
Right.
That's harmful too to the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So if you get it and you're one of the lucky people who it doesn't really badly affect, either because you're vaccinated or just super healthy or something, and you just got lucky,
Yeah.
then you stop looking at it as a serious concern and you stop caring about other people's serious concerns about it.
Yeah.
It's the same way we treat disability in this country, right? You have disability that's visible, right? Like somebody is a wheelchair user, right?
Yeah.
Or somebody who's blind or deaf and you can see there's a visual signal of that. But there's all kinds of disabilities that are invisible,
Yeah.
right? And we treat people all as if they are abled by default.
Yeah.
And some people might say, oh, well, that's good because now we're not treating people differently. Well, but it's not good because you're not making the proper accommodations for people's problems, for people's disabilities or people's things that they need accommodations for.
Yeah.
And a lot more people need accommodations for things than don't. Right? So, but a lot of people who have invisible disabilities will sometimes pretend to be abled
Yeah.
So as to not be
stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, I
think that we have to be more understanding.
Yeah.
Not for ourselves all the time, but for other people. So many people and children have passed away. Yeah. And that I can't take lightly at all.
I've spent an enormous amount of my life hiding from my differences, just trying to appear normal, right? Because I had the visual disability of being obese, right? People could see that and go, oh, haha, fat guy, why don't you lose some weight, blah, blah, blah. Even when I'm in the process of losing weight, I still look like a fat guy and people are still like judgmental, right?
Yeah.
But there are other parts of me that are invisible, like my neurodivergence, my queerness. People don't know those things unless I go, hey, blah, 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 this and that, right?
Yeah.
But I spent a lot of years hiding those things away from everyone, just as not to stand out any more than I already did.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And it's also, I'm 6'7", so I'm 6'7", obese, queer, and neurodivergent. So I'm hiding half of the things. I'm hiding the things I can hide.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a privilege I have. I can do that. Right. Because I'm not physically disabled, like a wheelchair user. Right. So I can pretend to be abled.
Yeah.
Right. I can pretend that I don't have anything wrong with my brain. Not that I think that neurodivergence is wrong with your brain, but
it just works differently.
Compared to somebody who's neurotypical, they think that's, you got something off about you, right? But I don't think that it's off.
We need.
But society makes you feel that way, and so you go, I'm not going to show people that.
Yeah.
Right. But I've been more open with it lately, and I feel like my quality of life is improving because I'm able to be more me and be more out there, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Of, here's the reality. This is what you get with me. Right. If you don't like it, then I guess that's fine. We don't have to be friends or coworkers, but if you can understand me better, maybe it'll be easier to work with me.
Yeah.
Right. Or be my friend.
Yeah.
I will say though, nobody has asked me out to lunch. I think there's a couple of reasons for that. I don't have a lot of.
You've made it very clear.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of friends close by, but the ones I do have close by are very clear on my stance of this whole thing, right?
Well, I don't know if you know this, but I don't have any friends either. And
you have friends.
No, I don't. I haven't been asked out to lunch either.
Yeah.
So it's okay. I'm fine with it.
It's clear. I think I would say no anyways, right? Like it's not.
Yeah.
I think they know. I think they wouldn't. They don't bother because they know, oh, that's going to be a no on that side over there. So I'm not going to take that rejection today.
Right. I think we need more compassion for people, and that goes every which way. And so if people want to go out and I guess, I mean, how am I going to stop any of that? But at the same time, come on, man, stop it.
Yeah.
We're not going to kick this until we stop doing what we're doing.
I mean,
and it's just irresponsible.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's extremely likely that we never get rid of
I don't think
COVID ever completely.
My gut feeling is it'll just be like a cold kind of thing. People are either gonna get it or they're not, and then people are just gonna go about their lives and like whatever and gamble it.
I think it's going to be endemic, like a cold.
Yes,
like
that's
cold
what I mean.
Flus, but I don't think that
it'll
it's
be
ever going to be
commonplace.
like a cold.
No, it'll be as common as a cold. Is what I mean.
Yeah, I think so too.
And so, but
which means that we have to continue to be safe and maybe there's some hope on the vaccine front that they'll have a vaccine soon that will be good against all variants, all possible variants.
Yeah.
And then you can get a vaccine and then you're protected from hospitalization, death, and like crazy symptoms, right? Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, if that's a thing you can get, then I will be more comfortable going back into normal quote unquote life.
Yeah.
But right now that's not how the vaccine works.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I don't want to go out there and risk it if I can avoid it. Right.
Yeah.
And I can avoid doing fun things. Right. We still have to do groceries. We're lucky that we have a way to pick up groceries.
Yeah.
And we're lucky that we have a way to order the other things that we need.
Mm-hmm.
But like if we need somebody to come to the house, that's a tough thing. Right.
Yeah.
If we need to go somewhere that doesn't have delivery or pickup, that's a tough thing. But we don't have to go out to dinner. Right. We don't have to. We got Panda Express the other night. Mm-hmm. We didn't have to go out to dinner. I ordered it online, picked it up through the driveway, mask.
Yeah.
Good to go, right? We don't have to go to what did I say earlier, a football game. We don't have to go to like the theater or movies.
Yeah.
Right? Those things are extra fun
It sucks
things.
you can't do that,
It
right?
totally sucks. I'm not saying, and I'm not judging anybody who wants to do those things. That's their own choices to make.
We all want to do those.
Right.
That's fine. But if
it's easier for me to
scary.
say, oh, no theater right now.
Right.
Than it is for me to say no groceries right now. Right.
Yeah.
So
Anxiety is a tricky beast because then your mind takes off and you go, well, I don't want my person
it's a lot like anxiety COVID, right? Like I think you're just going to have to, it's going to be a thing to live with. You can't really cure anxiety. You can lessen it. You can do things and exercises and there are drugs too that can help you control it, but it doesn't go away, right? It's there.
Yeah.
It's always going to be just under the surface for you. All right. So I wanted to talk
tough.
about another thing before we talk, when we went way off on COVID again. It's relevant. It's what's happening right now.
This is how it's going to help is to be able to talk about it without getting so heated and passionate about this or that. We just need.
After I went on a big old rant.
No, but it's not. I don't think it was a rant. I think it was like, you're just trying to understand, right? We're all just trying to understand each other and ourselves.
I'm worried about it all the time, and
that for me, I know that a lot of people, at least for me, I'm done with it. I want it to go away very badly. Yeah. I want to be able to go do things and go see things and travel and take my kids places. I want to be able to do that too.
Yeah.
Right? I do really, really badly. And it hurts me that I can't and that I know that the smartest thing to do is to not do those things. I get that.
Yeah.
So I don't want to blame other people for doing those things. I just think that that's kind of like you're gambling. Right?
Yeah.
I hope that no one gets sick. I hope that no one dies. I don't want that for anyone. That would feel, but I would take that on as that's my fault if one of my people passes from something that I pushed them to go do.
Yeah.
That's where my anxiety kicks in.
There's also the anxiety of like, so you could go to I'll say it again, football game. You could go to a football game and it's probably very unlikely that you would contract if you're vaccinated and you're being kind of careful. It's very unlikely that you contract COVID there, but just the idea of being around other people whom I don't know where they've been, that anxiety level for me would be,
yeah, me too.
Like I'll see a photograph of like a stadium full of people or like a movie theater, like when the Batman came out, like people were posting on,
oh yeah,
I'm at the Batman and there's like 100 people.
Yeah, I can't take Bryce to go see Batman.
I couldn't enjoy that myself because the whole time I'd be thinking, who in here is going to kill me?
And then on top of that, for the next 2 weeks, you'd be thinking, and you wouldn't be able to sleep. You wouldn't be able to
every morning going,
I have a sore throat. I know I'm dying. I know I'm dying today.
Yeah.
Right? I sit in the parking lot to go pick up groceries, and I'm around. I see 5 or 6 people walk by, and I go, oh boy, there's a lot of people here. Which it's not, but the fear kicks in.
It does.
And the anxiety kicks in. You go, oh, geez.
It's been traumatic.
And you see all the numbers and all you can think about lately is that. And that's all people talk about is that. So I get both sides of it. It's just, crazy times.
So I wanted to talk about, and this I will talk about this more during the topic section, but I wanted to bring up, I rewatched The Craft recently. Have you seen this? Do you know this?
Yes.
With
that lady scares me.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing her first name correctly or her last name, Fairuza Balk.
Yeah, that's right.
That sounds right to me, but it's probably wrong because up until a couple of days ago, I thought it was Willem Dafoe. It's not that. I will say I've always known that it was Charlize Theron. I've always known that.
Well, Fairuza, she's a spook. I'm a spooky cookie, but that lady kind of scares me.
Well, she's good at being creepy, right? I think it goes back to that thing what we were talking about the other day with that one actress Alexandria something, Diodaro or something like that. I don't know if that's right, but she has those really blue eyes, like the like super light blue eyes and dark hair, and it makes her your brain goes, she's pretty, but something
it's intense.
There's something intense. You don't
about normally
it, right?
see dark hairs with light eyes.
And Fairuza has that same thing. It's those really light eyes with the dark.
Yeah.
But then she also has that big smile that she can like camp up and make.
Yeah.
Right. She can make herself look really scary. But I also think that she is pretty, but Anyways, I didn't remember how scary that movie was. Just in terms of like, I forgot that and this is spoilers if you haven't seen The Craft. I think the statute of limitations is up on that, but I forgot that they turned on her. So Robin Tunney is the girl who moves to town and becomes their fourth with Neve Campbell, Fairuza, and I can't remember the other actress's name. But she becomes their fourth. But then I forgot at a certain point, the three original girls turn on Robin Tunney and start like terrorizing her. And like doing glamours and witch shit to like scare her, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's not real witch shit. It's the movie, you know, the fictionalized witch shit. But I forgot that, and I was watching it and I was like, what the fuck? This is hardcore. This is way harder core than I remembered it being. And I was like, they're like, there's one point, and this, you know, content warning here, but they try to make her feel like she's killing herself.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
And they, even to the point of like making her believe she's cut her own wrists. Although they did it the wrong direction in the movie. They do that in the movies all the time. I think maybe that's good. You don't want to teach people, right? Like you don't want to teach people the right thing to do, and I was like, whoa. And then she's like, no, it's fake. It's not real. And then Fairuza's like, her hair's all spiked out. And she's like, well, why are you still bleeding? And like,
yikes.
I'm like, what is going on? And so then I don't know. I don't know what my point is.
That movie's intense.
It was way more intense than I was prepared. I thought, oh, I watched The Craft. Yeah, I remember that. Oh, light as a feather, stiff as a board. It's so wholesome witch stuff. And then I was like,
wholesome witch stuff.
That's how I remembered it.
Yikes!
But I think that I was.
No, that's black magic, dude.
Well, I think I was mixing it up in my brain with that Sandra Bullock movie where
Practical Magic. Oh yeah.
Where that one is more.
That's even got a little bit of a dark magic.
It does
going.
A little bit, but not as bad as the Craft. But it's more wholesome about it, and so I think in my head, I was mixing those two together in some ways. Because in this one, I was watching it, and I was like, Robin Tunney's in this? I thought it was Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, you did mix it up.
I did mix it up a little bit. But yeah, I don't think either one is like, I don't think that we have a Hollywood movie that's wholesome. Witches are always something scary in the movies, right? We don't really have any
Hollywood versions of it.
Yeah. We don't have any Hollywood movies where witches are portrayed in a more like druid, earthy sense. Though they get close in The Craft, like the whole idea is, you know, although they put a satanic twist on it, but the whole idea is that the thing that they are praising or worshiping is the universe, like everything, not just God or the devil. Like, right. And what point she goes, if the God and Satan were fighting, Manon would be the arena they fought in, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of like more overarching universal, like closer with the earth and nature kind of thing. But then they still put a big old satanic twist on it and made it seem like, you know, vengeful and wrathful.
That was a big label when I was a kid, and you too, probably during that same time.
Oh, I grew up
if it was something they couldn't really pinpoint, or it went against, like if it would just had candles around, they would go, oh, it's Satanism. Right.
It's D&D, Magic the Gathering. Those games were labeled heavy metal music.
Yeah.
Like everything from when I was a kid
Yeah.
was about turning us to Satan.
Yeah.
There's that still stuff still exists. That's that kind of attitude about magic and stuff still exists in Christianity today.
Yeah.
But we don't hear about it as often on the news like we did. But again, we don't watch the news the way that we did when we were kids, right? We get our news a different way. So it's a little less just in your face, like, nightly news. And then the story at 11 is about how 3 young men in Memphis decided to, and you're like, what is happening?
Yikes.
Yeah, it was always more scary. And then they'd be like, and then Chippy, the water skiing squirrel.
Water skiing squirrel.
That
silly
whole,
little rascal.
yeah, that whole local news vibe.
Get out your umbrellas this weekend. It's like it goes from like crazy, terrible things.
Yeah.
And then it just goes into a heartfelt thing. And then the weather. What the hell?
All right. So I think the thing that we wanted to talk about this week was you came up with the idea. You want to just say what it is?
It's the idea of to reboot or to not reboot.
Oh, like
That is the question.
like fictional stories and stuff.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about sequels or even 20-year sequels like Scream or Matrix or Top Gun.
Yeah, I get it. I know what you're talking about.
So like the other night when we watched the new West Side Story, I knew there was an old one, but I've never seen it.
An old one. It's like from 1961. That's really old.
Okay, the ancient one. And so then
The ancient one.
it took us 3 nights to watch this new one because you kept falling asleep.
Well,
But then after it was over, you're like, now we're going to watch the original. I'm like, oh, what?
so here's the thing.
Why do we need to reboot things? One, that's my question. One, why do we need to reboot things?
I don't know that we need to reboot things, but I really like West Side Story as a musical. Mm-hmm. But the story part of it is slow. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, I mean, they take 30 minutes just to get to the when you eject, like,
Yeah.
it takes so long to get to that point, and most of it's just like
Dance fighting. And there's little to no fighting.
Right. But it's 3 hours long, first of all, to just basically retell Romeo and Juliet, but with a sadder ending.
Yes. But what I'm saying is if the original is so classic and awesome,
The movie
Then
is
why-
corny at this point
then why do
because
we
the
need
movie's
to
corny.
why do we need a redo? The new one was corny too. Like they met once.
The new one was corny just because the story's corny, but the acting and the performances weren't corny like they are in the 61.
Okay. All right. So maybe not West Side Story. Okay, fine.
I do like that they had Rita Moreno come back. She doesn't reprise her character clearly,
Right.
but she's in it.
She's the supporting
She played
lady.
Anita in the 61 version, and she's like a friend of Tony's and an older friend of
She's the
Tony's that's
shopkeeper.
helping him after he got out of prison.
Right.
Shopkeeper character.
Okay, but now what about James Bond's, Ninja Turtles, Spider-Man, Transformers, Mortal Kombat, Scooby-Doo's, and a billion Batmans? What's the excuse for those?
Because they make money. James Bond has never been rebooted. I look at James Bond like Doctor Who, where they just keep changing who plays Bond. But it's not a reboot, so to speak. It's just a new actor playing the same character. I think that for it to be a reboot, they have to take like the core conceit of the original and
Ninja Turtles.
reboot
Why?
it. Because the originals are corny. And they made money, and these made money.
Damn it. Okay. All right.
So
okay.
I get the point. So I'm getting that you don't like reboots, generally speaking.
No. I think the original Ninja Turtles were fine. Okay, fine. But let them be.
They were fine when we were 9.
Okay, sure. But
Have
then
you watched them recently?
Let them. Okay, fine. But let them be. Let
Why?
them be.
Why? They make money.
Okay. Oh, so our dudes call it. Here's the answer. That because I asked our boys. Our dudes call it nostalgia bait, right? Something that makes us go, yeah, this is awesome. And then they do it again to like find that.
And they make the money.
It's so ridiculous. But they tried to do Ghostbusters with an all-female cast. I boycotted that one. Then they did.
Wait,
they
you didn't watch it at all?
No. Then they did.
Okay, hold on. Let's talk about
No.
Ghostbusters for a second.
No, Ghostbusters is classic and it works just fine. Why do they need to do it over again? But
They weren't doing it over again. If you didn't watch it, then I can forgive you for that. But that's not what they were trying to do. They weren't trying to reboot the Ghostbusters necessarily. They were just making a Ghostbusters that had female characters so that a new generation of people could be into it. It turned out to be a bad movie, but it's not because they rebooted Ghostbusters with women that it was a bad movie. It just wasn't a good movie.
Okay.
It wasn't a good Ghostbusters movie. It didn't have the same magic.
Well, the new Ghostbusters movie,
which is a sequel.
Afterlife, it's a 20-year some odd sequel,
And that
which
movie's
is
wonderful.
great.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Because that's the way they should have
That's how you hit the nostalgia bait or whatever.
Revived that genre or that series.
Yeah. But they've done it with RoboCop. They rebooted that. And the second one, that one's worse. The original's still rad.
I think the problem with reboots isn't that they're doing it. It's just that it's so subjective, and then there's always going to be somebody who's like, no, I grew up with the original and that's the canon and that's the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
But the idea of the reboot, first and foremost, is to make the studio money off of a known quantity, right? So they go, oh, RoboCop made us a lot of money. If we remake RoboCop, we can make a lot of money off of a new generation of people who haven't seen the original. They're not thinking about...
They're not thinking of us nerds.
Not really. They're thinking about money. They're thinking about their pocketbook, right?
Cool.
But then if they can also get the nerds to go see it again... More money, cha-ching, right? Like more money, cash register. Cash registers don't make that noise anymore. I'm dating myself, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
They're just trying to make money. They do not care whether we like it or not as original fans or old timey fans, right? It's the same thing that happened with Star Wars, and that one's really toxic environment. Like a lot of the older fans are like, "This is the only Star Wars that exists, and these other ones are." Baloney.
Yeah, I didn't even touch Star Wars because that's sensitive.
I'm not a big I love Star Wars, but I'm more of a Trekkie, right?
Yeah.
But even with Trek, I don't get bent out of shape that they're trying to reinvent it a little bit because I just want more.
Yeah.
Right? I want more Star Wars. I don't care if it's got a stupid Jar Jar Binks character in it because you're going to show me more lightsabers.
But if it's the same story with the same characters and they're redoing it, like Hellboy, right? Then that one's
But that's not a direct reboot either. That's just a what's it? Oh, I guess that is what a reboot is. It's like trying to revive the...
Yeah. It's a retelling of the same story that was already told previously. Ron Perlman does a great job.
But again, that's just subjectivity.
Oh, well, what?
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Who in their right mind is going to stand there and look me in the eye and say Ron Perlman is not the perfect Hellboy?
No one in their right mind. I believe you. I think Ron Perlman is the best live action Hellboy movies.
Did you see him with the Crate of Kittens? Come on.
I didn't like the reboot of it. Not that I think that the new guy didn't do a good job acting, or that the story wasn't fun, or that there wasn't cool effects and stuff. It's just that Ron Perlman so fully encapsulates the whole attitude of Hellboy.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And, the new Hellboy looks kind of off, but it's not that, right? It's not that they redid it. It's just that when they redid it, it just wasn't as good of a movie.
Yeah.
That's what you're really mad about, because if that movie had been rad, you would still love the Ron Perlman. Like, it doesn't... Yeah. A reboot doesn't take away the old stuff. It still exists. It's still there. You can still enjoy it. What you're mad about is that the reboot failed.
I see.
Right? It might not have failed for the movie studio, but for the fans, it failed.
Yeah.
It wasn't good enough. Right? But it's not supposed to replace. It's just supposed to start it up again.
Yeah.
Right? Like we change Batmans all the time. Again, I don't think that's rebooting either, except for that they keep telling the stupid origin story over and over again.
Right.
But that's just refreshing it for a new audience is the goal there, right?
I see.
And same thing with Spider-Man
Yeah.
or any superhero. I mean, humans age, so they can only play a superhero for so long.
Right.
Right? Tobey Maguire looks great for 40, but we wouldn't believe a 40-year-old Tobey Maguire Spider-Man for very long.
Yeah.
That's nostalgia, right? Bringing him into Far From Home. Is it Far From Home? No, it's No Way Home. Bringing him into that, it's like everybody goes, wow, and they just ignore that he's 40.
Yeah.
But if it was just him,
Right. I see what
Right?
you're saying. But like you watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the new one. Isn't that a
Yeah.
reboot? Or did it turn out to be kind of like a sequel?
no. So that one is the new. That's a requel,
Okay.
which we learned about recently in the new Scream.
What's a requel?
They're trying to restart the story, but they also put in a bunch of stuff that made it a true sequel. And I think they were trying to like capture the magic of the Halloween, the first Halloween where Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, comes back and she's trying to stop Michael, but she's older,
Yes.
right? They try to do that in this too, where they brought the original girl from, it's not the original actress, but I don't think, it might be the original actress, but the girl that survived in the first one, she got away on a truck and he like chopping at the thing, but she got away. She's been hunting Leatherface for 50 years.
Right.
So there's that plot line, but it's like not fully fleshed out. And then there's the plot line of, these kids bought all of the buildings in this old Texas town, and Leatherface and his mom or aunt are still living in one of the buildings. And then they go in and they're like, you're not supposed to be here. Lady dies. Leatherface goes crazy, decides he's going to kill everybody, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that sequence, the first time he kills people in the movie, I'm like, that is what Leatherface is about. And then it twists, and he goes and he kills a bus full of people, Jason or Freddy style. And I'm like, that's not Leatherface. Leatherface stalks
Yeah.
and makes you hide in like a locker, and you're sweating and you're wet. You're probably wet. And you're just so scared.
Yeah.
And you hear like the chainsaw, and then you like hear the chains, the meat hook chains while he walks through them. That's what's scary about Leatherface, right?
Yeah.
Or he stalks you through an empty field and there's not a house for miles, no one to save you.
Yeah.
And even if you get to a house, it's his family.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
But putting him on a bus and slashing up a whole bus full of millennials, that's a Jason move.
Yeah.
That's not Leatherface. So I found out what happened later is they had one guy start that movie, and creative differences, he left.
Directing?
Directing, writing. Another person came in and took over and changed the vision. And so and you can see that happen in real time in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's bad because the first half of it, you're like, oh, this is going to be so good. And there's some really gorgeous cinematic scenes. No business being in a horror slasher film.
Yeah.
And then it gets to that second half and it's just gore. It's just a gore fest, and it doesn't make any sense to the character. And it certainly doesn't complete any of the plot lines, right?
Right.
So yeah, that was, I think, had potential. And it got ruined in the production process. A lot of creative things get ruined though.
Yeah.
Because people who aren't part of the creative process want to be part of it, and then they start adding things, and then people go, well, this isn't my vision, and they leave, and then somebody else comes in and has to finish it.
Right.
You know, like with the Zack Snyder Justice League. Not that Zack Snyder's Justice League was any better than the Joss Whedon original that Joss Whedon had to take over for Zack. They were both terrible.
Yeah.
But it was a vision he had to see through.
Okay.
Right? He wanted to see through. And that's okay. It's okay if your hard work and effort produces nothing of value. That's okay.
That's a difficult thing to swallow too.
Yeah, but you have to be okay with it, because sometimes you're going to make things. You're either never going to show it to anybody, so nobody ever sees it. And so it offers no value except for to yourself, which you could argue that's a lot of value. You're learning, you're growing, you're becoming better. Or you're going to show it to people and people are going to go, that's stupid and sucks. And then again, you're in the same place. It didn't really produce value that you wanted it to produce, right?
Yeah.
But again, it gives you the value of like learning and stuff. And that's, reboots at the end of the day, reboots, requels, sequels, anything that's based on a former IP, regardless of how you define how they use that IP.
Yeah.
Those are all money-making scams.
Yeah.
All of them.
I guess so.
None of them are for the love of it.
Well,
no, sometimes you get lucky and you get a guy who's really passionate about the source material and wants to do right by it, and then you get a great reboot, requel, sequel.
Yeah.
But most of the time you just get people who are like, oh, well, we just need somebody to finish this movie.
Yikes. That's terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the thing is people are going to buy the ticket anyways. Sorry, I'm getting a little ranty on this.
No, but you're right, because I wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking more of like, why do it when there's a perfectly good movie sitting there that already has that, Yeah. Like the original It terrified the bejeebers out of me in every way possible to this day. Tim Curry, to this day, the person scares me.
Yeah, but have you watched it recently? See, that's the thing is you're basing it off of what you remember when you're a much younger person with a different mindset of, oh, that's terrifying. I don't want to ever watch that again. But if you watch it now, you'd be like, that's corny. That's not scary.
Yeah, and I didn't think of it like that. I just thought like it was. I don't know. That's a different way to look at it, I guess.
I think in horror movies, a lot of the times that they get rebooted, other than the money angle, which that's always the number one factor, is that
now they can do better special effects.
It feels the older one feels a little corny, and they want to they've rebooted Nightmare on Elm Street, didn't do well, but it's visually. The cinema of it's great, right?
And then they have like concepts that they try to reboot and do over, like the whole Freaky Friday concept.
Oh, that's a trope.
And so now they've got
body swap.
Yeah, the whole body swapping thing, and then I don't know his name. What's that guy's name that we recently watched? It's a horror movie. It's kind of like a slasher movie where the girl gets into the guy's body and the serial killer gets into the girl's body.
Oh, yeah, Vince Vaughn?
Yeah, Vince Vaughn.
Yep.
What's that movie called? I forget that one.
Oh, that one was called... I don't remember. I have no idea. I'll put it in the show notes if I remember
Okay.
later.
But that one was kind of interesting. And
wait, was that called Freaky... No.
Freaky Friday is with Jamie Lee Curtis and
Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was just a mom-daughter comedy fun one. But they did it in a horror movie kind of way in this one. And I thought that was cool because it crossed genres with the same kind of like
they took the
funny
trope,
concept.
They took the trope and they twisted it just enough.
So why can't, when they do those kinds of things and they bring back those old school things, why don't they just do it in such a different creative way?
Because a lot of the times the people who are creative and who could make that into that don't have enough power to pull the correct strings, right? This happens and I know I compare my work to Hollywood a lot, but it happens a lot in designing apps and products too, is the people who are creative and want the best for the customer don't have the power to pull the levers to say, let's ship this. And then people who don't have as much creativity or vision get involved and their egos get involved and they have the money and the power. And so they prevent the thing from being great, right?
Yeah. It was just called Freaky.
Freaky, yeah. So did you like that movie?
I liked it.
Okay, so I think you might there's a horror movie. There's two of them now.
Oh boy.
And they are a horror movie twist on Groundhog Day.
Oh.
Called Happy Death Day.
Oh, I see.
And in both of them, it's the same girl, same scenario, and there's a new slasher character coming after her. But every time she gets killed, she wakes up, it's the same day. And she's got to go through it. She has to try to figure out who the killer is.
See, that I can get behind in like
it's really well done.
A retelling of an old concept, right? Yeah. But the same story and the same origin story and the same character, it just gets like, all right, we've established that this is the story.
Yeah.
Now, can we please move on?
So you're saying take the idea, take the concept, make an homage to that concept, but with
Yes.
something new.
Yes.
Or just mix and match things.
Yeah, that's what I think. And also, I
Well,
don't.
those movies get made too, right? They just
Yeah.
don't get as much hype as the reboots do.
Yeah, right. And so we have like a billion Batmans, which are all pretty great in their own way. If you take them,
Difference, yeah.
you take them in their own separate.
One exception outstanding.
Okay, which is what?
The George Clooney Batman's terrible. Batman Forever.
Yeah, but then we get Poison Ivy in that one. Which,
I didn't say that.
Right, I know.
The whole movie is super corny.
Yes, it's yeah.
But yes, I do think that some of the performances by villains in that movie are pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole Batman, Robin, and Batgirl
Yeah.
trilogy thing, that is just awful. I saw a clip of Chris O'Donnell doing laundry in that movie, and he's like doing karate kicks and spins and stuff to hang his stuff on. It's so corny.
Yeah.
It's so corny. And then the bat nipples, it's just, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, I agree. But
the rest of them are watchable.
yeah, we've seen them, right? We've seen it enough times, the same story.
Yeah.
I hope that the new Batman at least does something new and does something different and shows us a different side that we're not used to.
I think
That's what I'm hoping.
I think it will. That's what everybody's saying. So the reason I brought up the craft,
Okay.
full circling this,
Yes, please.
is there's a new craft the Legacy.
Ooh.
Okay. And it is the story of a girl and her mom moving across country to go live with mom's new boyfriend and his sons.
Uh-oh.
Boyfriend's played by David Duchovny.
Okay.
Mom is played by Michelle Moynihan, who's drinking the same juice that Rachel Weisz is. Neither of them are aging,
The Fountain of Youth.
like
Serum.
at all. We watched a movie. What was that movie we watched the other night with Michelle?
Kiss, Kiss, Bang, Bang.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That's from the late 90s, right? So at least 21 years ago.
Yeah, Val Kilmer.
It looks like she walked off of the, like she walks into this movie and I'm like, what? I looked it up. I was like, when was this movie made? 2021.
Oh,
Where, what is she doing?
I don't know.
I don't know. She looks the same. Doesn't look like she could be a mom. I don't know who in the casting was like, you know who she gets for that? Wrong, false. The girl, the daughter, I don't know the name of the actress, but I have seen her before in other things. So they move. They have an awkward meeting with David Duchovny and his sons. She goes to school and she has, her a period accident in class. People are making fun of her. Well, the three girls that are already part of a coven, okay,
Right.
they witness this, and so they go, oh, maybe that's our fourth. I don't know why the period makes them think that she's the fourth. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's a witch thing I don't understand. But they go follow her to the bathroom and try to give her some clothes so that she can get out of her, because she's soaked through the jeans and she's
Oh, okay. All
she's
right.
really embarrassed and mess.
Yeah.
And so then they're like,
She didn't have a sweatshirt to tie around her waist.
no, she was just wearing like a top and jeans.
Oh,
'cause
that's
it
how
was like
most of us handle it. We
springtime or something.
we just put a sweatshirt around it.
Well, they gave her some gym shorts or whatever and got her home. And then they realized privately, they're like, oh, maybe she's our fourth. And so then they try to like contact her telepathically while she's in detention, because she got in trouble because some boy messed with her and she fought back.
Ooh.
She's tough.
Oh.
That's something you need to know about the character. She's not a pushover. Mm-hmm. And so they contact her and she's hearing it. And so she goes, can I go to the bathroom? And the teacher's like, yeah, go ahead. And then they say, bring your bag, telepathically. And she grabs her bag and the teacher's like, you need to take your stuff. And one of the kids, the other kids in detention is like, didn't you hear? She's on her thing. so stupid. Anyway, so they get together, they're a witch coven, right? And they start becoming powerful. Now, the difference between this group of four girls and the group of four girls from the first movie is in the first movie, Fairuza Balk's character and the other girls start to get power hungry.
Yeah.
And the new girl, Robin Tunney, not so much. She's like, oh, I don't think we should be doing this stuff. This is kind of evil.
Right.
and they're like, we're going to do it anyways. And they start terrifying her, right? Well, in this one, they don't do that. They actually are like a clique. They're like a group, a tight knit group of people. And I think that's important because the bad guy in this movie is not one of the witches. It's the boyfriend.
Oh, you spoiled it. Spoiler.
It's the boyfriend. Sorry.
Yikes.
I should have said spoiler. I should have said spoiler. I'll put a spoiler alert in the show notes. Don't listen if you haven't seen the Craft legacy, or if you even care about it. So I won't explain like what happens for the rest of the movie, but basically she finds out she's adopted, that Michelle Monaghan is not her mom, and that she has a different mom, and that, you know, the boyfriend's the bad guy, and there's a fight and blah, blah, blah. Right.
Yeah.
The very end of the movie, we find out who her real mom is, and it's one of the 4 main characters from the first movie.
Oh no.
I won't say who.
Oh no.
But it's interesting.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it's
that's not good.
It was actually, I watched it and then watched The Craft.
What, the new It?
Yeah, I watched the new one first and then the second, and then I watched The Craft originally.
What in the heck?
Well, because I was like, oh man.
And by watch it, you mean listen to it while you're doing other stuff up here.
No. The new one I watched, like I was up here after work watching it.
Yeah.
But the original, I just listened to it, and then every once in a while I went, what? I don't remember that. That's crazy. It's not a reboot, I don't feel like. It's a sequel. But I feel like it's pretty good. I don't know, like on its own, if it was just a movie by itself without that original movie, I don't know how good of a movie it is.
Yeah.
But based on the history, it's pretty good. And all the parts are well acted. So, I don't know.
So the question is, to reboot or to not reboot?
That is the question.
Well, I'm just so frustrated because sometimes it works, right? And sometimes it doesn't. But I just, you know what I like? The best ones that I like are like the 20-year sequels. Those ones are cool. Like the new Scream one was cool. The Ghostbusters one was cool.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say about it, because I don't have a really super strong opinion on it, but I do have an opinion. I think that it's a no risk situation, and that they're fine, and that they should continue to do them. One, they're no risk for the studio because they know they're going to make some money, even if at the end of the day the outcome is it's a bad movie. People are still going to go see it to find out.
To find out, yeah.
So they're making their money, right?
Yeah.
2, the originals still exist. So even if it is a bad movie, it doesn't take away or change or
That's true.
remove that from your lexicon or anything.
Yeah, that's true.
3, those kinds of movies get people talking.
Yeah.
Right? We're talking about it right now.
Yeah.
Right? So that's free marketing. So again, another money thing, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a win-win-win, right? Because if it turns out good, then the fans are happy. If it turns out bad, the fans talk more about it. More people go to see it, go, man, those crazy OG fans, I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, I get it.
So it doesn't matter really if it's good or bad.
I guess
because
so.
it doesn't, it's not like they're like, here's the new one. We're deleting the other thing from everything from the universe.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Well,
you
yeah.
can still go watch all the original Ghostbusters.
It's true.
The new feminine Ghostbusters don't change that. Right. And if you don't like that movie, oh, that's okay. There's lots of movies you could watch that you don't like. You still could go watch the original Ghostbusters. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't like long story short, I didn't really like the reboot of West Side Story very much, but I did like the performances. Right. I just felt it was a little bit too, I don't know. Maybe it's because I grew up with the cornier 61 version where it's more based on the play and
Right.
it's not as gritty. It's more sunny.
That's what I'm saying. So like redo Grease. No, stop it.
Well, maybe they
Right?
could. Maybe they could redo Grease well.
I don't think they could though.
Sometimes it would be a good idea, though, in the case of like Grease, maybe reboot it so it could be a little bit more modern in terms of societal outlook.
Right.
And
So,
not
like,
so sexist.
Right. So then also like
So then
I
you
know
can
this is still
enjoy-
from the 90s.
Yeah.
But they they redid Romeo and Juliet, but it's Baz Luhrmann, and so he made it more modern.
Yeah, well,
and set in California. Like they did this whole really
it has
cool
a modern setting with the exact same language, though.
I know, but that's even cooler because we still get
It's an art piece.
yeah, we still get like the cool hand me my sword, right? And it's gone, but it's still it's very cool.
I still would like to see a Romeo and Juliet that's modernized with modern language and modern times.
Just twist it up a little bit.
That's what West Side Story is supposed to be, is a modernization, but it's not that modern,
really.
right?
No.
Because it's 1961.
Yeah, it's still still 19 whatever it is.
Yeah, I think they just were. I think it was a little too gritty, a little too violent, and maybe that was the intention. I just misunderstood of the original, but it didn't feel that way to me. But I still like some of the songs, and some of the songs in that are classic Broadway songs, right?
It just got me thinking, is all.
Yeah. No, it's a valid. I think it's totally valid to question whether we should even be doing that. Mm-hmm. But I think from the point of view of the studio, there's no losing for them.
Yeah.
Right. From our point of view, you're a lot to lose, right? Because we feel like they're stomping all over our childhood or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're not, right? They're not taking away that thing.
Yeah, that's true.
They're just giving
It's
it
not
to
like-
younger people.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And I sometimes like to see updated visuals. Mm-hmm. Right. Like I did enjoy the updated visual set pieces and stuff. They felt more grounded in reality
In the West Side Story.
In the new West Side Story. Mm-hmm. But there was just a darkness to it. In the first one, they're dance fighting and somebody gets like a little cut on their cheek. In this one, somebody's got a nail through the ear.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, okay. Yeah, maybe.
I guess.
Maybe, but when did they do that and why? They pierced his ear with a nail from a construction site? That seems like a strange...
That guy's getting tetanus for sure.
Is that something that they did a lot in the 60s? Like,
I think it's like a punk thing to get your ear pierced, right? And so they were doing it to a greaser kid, right?
oh, I don't know if the Jets are greasers. I wouldn't consider them greasers.
Well, maybe not. Well, whatever. It's fine.
I want
saying.
them to reboot Grease.
No, please don't. Please.
I want them to reboot it and have it be better.
You can't.
I want them to do better.
No, because I don't want to see anyone but Stockard Channing as Rizzo. Please, please.
Okay. Well, we'll leave it at that.
All right,
I guess.
cool. Do it if you want, but don't touch Grease.
Don't touch Grease. Okay. I disagree. I love you.
I love you too.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Lou and Me podcast, subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, or Spotify.
And follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Lou and Me Podcast.
Lou and Me is a Matthiasaurus production, produced and edited by Moose. The song is No Carpets by the New Forevers, hosted by Lou and me.
Thanks for listening.